Welcome back to another video. This video I will be covering some All NBA teams, the MVP award, and believe Defensive Player of the Year. So these are just my opinions. Again, I want to reinstate these are my opinions. And so if you disagree, go make your own video. Thank you. I'm going to start off with the All NBA teams. Let's go third team to first team. Third team, I have Steph Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Evan Mobley, and James Harden. To go through them very quickly, Evan Mobley is, obviously strongly in Defensive Player of the Year consideration, made a major leap offensively, was able to punish mismatches this year. He was a good three-point shooter as well this year. Definitely contributed to that Cavaliers defense being a top 10 defense and contributed to that offense being the number one offense. In fact, you could argue the rise in him and Darius Garland game definitely made that offense what it was. Also, shout out to Kenny Atkinson for that. Jalen Brunson is pretty obvious. Jalen Brunson now over these years is just, we know what Jalen Brunson is. Jalen Brunson is going to be a 26 to 28 point per game guy on, about 5.5 to 7.5 assists, on really good efficiency. He's one of the best scorers in the league. His ability to get to the free throw line, his ability to hit threes, hit pull up threes out of pick and roll situations, his mid range game, his footwork. He's just a really good player. So I think at this point, Jalen Brunson, in this point in his career, is going to be perennially an All NBA player. So shout out to New York for that and getting him on the discount that they got him on this offseason. Next, we have Steph Curry, who kind of had some struggles at certain portions of this season, but all in all, he still put together a really good year. Down the stretch, he played amazing basketball. Once they got Jimmy Butler, got kind of another player that defenses have to pay some attention to, he really took off. And so I think that was enough to edge him into the third team, be it with all the injuries that we endured this year. Next, I have Halliburton, who after that first month or two in the season has been playing phenomenal basketball. Obviously, we all know about his assist to turnover ratio. He's been playing, I think he's averaging like last 25 plus, something like 19 and a half, 9.5 assists or something like one turnover a game or some absurd foolishness like that. Again, leading Indiana to one of the better offenses in the league. So yeah, I have Halliburton here. He's always efficient, one of the best pull-up three-point shooters in the league, year in, year out at this point. And he's another player that at this point in his career may be perennially All NBA. And then I have Mr. James Harden, Mr. Udo. Uno is here because of the job that he's done with the Los Angeles Clippers. The offensive burden that he's had all year, as far as pretty much the lone playmaker on that team for a long stretch of this season. His floor raising this year has been elite. Shout out Maxstream. His pick and roll game with Zubac has been outstanding, and he has Norman Powell having a career year as well. So I got Harden here. Not the most efficient of seasons, I can say that, not the most efficient of seasons, but again, the passing and the playmaking, the pick and roll game, the elevation of teammates around him. Again, Zubac career year, Norman career year. I think also Derrick Jones Jr. has a career year this year in points per game as well. So he's just been uplifting his teammates offensively all year long. So shout out to James Harden. I do have him making third team on NBA this year. Let's go to the second team major. Second team, I have Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Cade Cunningham, Triple J, and Cat. Let me start with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has had a really good year. Not the best of seasons from him, but that team winning definitely kind of catapulted him to second team, in my opinion. They had a historic year this year. Best offense in the league, and he's one of the main reasons for that. Still one of the better pull-up shooters in the league. So got to give that to D. Mitch. Also has made strides as a defender as well. Not as bad on ball, not as bad off ball as he has been years prior. Let's go to my GOAT. Lebanon James, man. LeBron James. I mean, what? 24 and a half, 8 and 8 on the year, bro. On great on good efficiency. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just is who he is. And those games without AD and Luka, we saw what LeBron James was doing. He went to New York, put up a 30-point trip dub. I think we had a game against Portland at home where they didn't play. He had another 30 some odd point outing. Also was good for long stretches this year defensively as well. While we were one of the better defenses in the league, the Lakers had like the best defense in the league for a 25 game stretch. He was one of the reasons. Him committing to rebounding. I think he led the team in rebounding during that stretch as well, because some of those games were without AD. His attention to detail on the weak side, his rotations, his closeouts, him even on the ball in certain situations, he was really good. So LeBron has had another fantastic season. And if it wasn't really for the injury and the slump after the injury, I probably would have had him on the first team, to be quite honest with you. Third, Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham has done a tremendous job with that Pistons team. I know that some of the stats aren't there. Some of the efficiency may not be there, like compared to a Halliburton or a Jalen Brunson. But if you watch that team, you just see the load that he has offensively that he carries on a 90 and 9 out basis. The fact that Jaden Ivey got hurt early on in the season, I thought that was going to torpedo their season, and he just kept winning. The Pistons kept winning. As soon as he got some adequate floor spacing around him, we saw what Cade Cunningham is, which is a 24, 25, and 8 to 10 guy. You know what I'm saying? 24 to 26 points, 8 to 10 assists, and can give you 6, 7 rebounds. I won't be surprised at some point in his career that he's flirting with averaging a triple-double for a season, to be quite honest with you. Next, we have Triple J. Triple J is up here for me because, number one, he also finds himself in the DPOY conversation, maybe not quite as high up the ranks as Evan Mobley and Draymond Green. However, he was playing on a DPOY level this year. And then his growth as an offensive player, we saw him be one of the more efficient post-up players in the league this year, with those little touch shots around the basket with either hand also this year. Jaren Jackson is a predominantly left-handed player. Like he's left-hand heavy, but I did see him make some improvements as far as finishing with his offhand a little bit this year. His pull-up three-point shooting as a big is always valuable. And I think the Grizzlies had one of the better offenses this season, even with Ja Morant struggling, and a big part of that was due to the growth of Jaren Jackson Jr. So I have Triple J making the second team. And then I also have Karl Anthony Towns, who started the year blazing. Karl Anthony Towns was hooping to begin the season. Kind of tailed off here at the end, but those first 40, 50 games, that lands him for me on this second team. He was shooting the laces off the ball. He was rebounding at an absurd clip, and he was again one of the reasons why that New York offense took off. Mind you, the New York Knicks are usually not one of the better offenses in the league, and they're usually a defensive slanted team. And since the acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns and that two-man game between him and Jalen Brunson, him attacking closeouts, him being good in spot up possessions as well, and taking advantage of mismatches when he can on the block. I have to give him that credit as well. First team, I think 4 of them kind of just speak for themselves. Let me start off with Tatum. Tatum has had yet another really good season that nobody's really talking about. I think he's made leaps as a playmaker and passer this year. He's still one of the more versatile defenders in the league. And when that pull-up three is going, I mean, he is a top 3 to 5 caliber player when that pull-up jumper is going, because the game is complete. There's really nothing he's not good at. So yeah, I have Tatum first team. And also that Celtic team is just going under the radar this year because OKC, the Cavs and the Lakers kind of grabbed all the headlines this year. Cavs and OKC due to just how good they've been this year. And then the Lakers obviously making the gargantuous move of acquiring Luka Doncic. And so a lot of eyes has been on us since that trade. But the Celtics have had another 60-plus win season. They're top 5 in offensive and defensive rating, pacing well to defend their title come this playoff. So shout out to Jason Tatum. The next player I want to discuss is the last player that I kind of had on this list because I was contemplating who was getting the fifth spot. Some people are going to go D Mitch, and I can understand that, the winning and everything like that. But D Mitch just hasn't played up to a certain level for me. And with Ant and D Mitch playing the same position, I do think it was pretty clear that Ant was the best shooting guard in the league this year. So I put Ant up here on the first team. His pull-up three-point shooting this year has been historic. He's still offering you great value on the defensive end as well. Here lately in the season, he's made some strides as a passer and playmaker, but that pull-up shooting was really needed for a Timberwolves team who lost a lot of spacing in Karl-Anthony Towns. And defenses kind of collapsed the paint on him, and he had to adjust his game. And my word, did he, adjust again? I think he's shooting like 10 threes a game, hitting them at a 40% clip. So shout out to Ant for just making it work with the roster that he had and still propelling them to, I want to say, 49 wins now. I think this is the Sunday where we're recording this after that great Clipper Warrior game in which the Clippers edged out the Warriors in overtime. And so now actually my team, the Lakers, will be playing Anthony Edwards in the first round. But shout out to Ant. Like I said, he made do with what he had, kind of made lemonade out of the lemons he was given, and still was a great offensive player this year. Next, I'm going to go to, again, to me, the most disrespected player in the league by far today, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis has another 30-point per game year on 60% field goal shooting, and he's the only one to do it. And the other time it got done was last year by Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's an outstanding player. His passing and playmaking also, since Damian Lillard has been out, has been incredible. He's having several double-digit assist games now. The scoring is still there. He can get to the paint at will. Also turned up the defense and the defensive motor a little bit this year compared to last. I think he has a case of being on one of the all-defensive teams this year. Not quite defensive player of the year levels, but he was, all defensive levels this year, in my opinion. Had several stretches in which that Milwaukee team actually was teetering on being a top 10 defense in the league. And that, as far as their personnel goes, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But Giannis was that good defensively as well. The pull-up shooting also from the mid-range has been incredible from Giannis this year. He added a counter to, teams religiously sagging off of him and very much scared of his downhill threat. And the fact that he turned himself into a really good mid-range shooter this year is just a testament to his work ethic and how he continues to evolve and just be one of the best players the game has ever seen. That is truly what Giannis Antetokounmpo is. He's one of the best players in NBA history, and he's netted yet another first-team All-NBA selection. Secondly, we're going to go to Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic this year had arguably the greatest offensive season from one player. The numbers are off the charts. I think it's around 30, 12, and 10, something to that effect on 65 true shooting. Absolutely absurd. There isn't really a spot on the court in which he's not highly effective. He's one of the best screeners in the league. As far as that floater range, he's the best in the league. He's efficient from mid-range. He's efficient from three. He has the low post work. He's one of, if not the best passer in the league. He's one of, if not the best playmaker in the league. And when he was on the court this year, the Denver Nuggets had the best offense in the league when he was on the court. Truly, Nikola Jokic is also truly one of the all-time great players in league history, and he just had an all-time great season. And then to round it out, SGA, man. SGA had such a special regular season this year, man. The ceiling raising that he was able to do for that OKC team, especially offensively, I don't think gets enough credit. He was amazing. As far as the volume pull-up shooting in the mid-range, hitting that at a ridiculous clip, led the league in drives per game in a league with Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James and these other players, James Harden. That is a ridiculous stat. He gets in the lane, he converts. If you foul him, he hits his free throws at a 90% clip. He added a three ball that he hits around a 38% clip. I think he took like 6 of them a game this year. He just had an absolutely historical scoring season, and then not to mention the quality of defensive player that he is as well. One of the better guard defenders in the league, one of the better rim protecting guards in the league. Also, just a phenomenal season from SGA. And we're going to go ahead and just get to who I have for MVP. And again, for me, that is Shai. The winning that OKC did this year, the level of play that he played at consistently. I think he had 72 straight games of 20 plus points. Just absolutely absurd consistency from Shai this year. The historic scoring, the passing and the playmaking that he also did, and the defense gotta be my MVP, man. Yeah, special season and a special player. Now, let's get to Defensive Player of the Year. To me, this award is up in the air. I'm not gonna lie. I think this award is completely up in the air. I have Draymond Green, but I'm not mad if you go with 2 or 3 other players. I'm not even mad. I'm not mad at you. You can go Evan, in my opinion. I think Amin is very much slept on for this award this year. Dyson Daniels was incredible this year as a POA. And Jaren Jackson Jr. was, one of the better rim protecting bigs in the league, and also can step out and hold his own in some switches. So I think we all knew that Wemby would win this award if he played. And then also who was competing with him was Chet, and they both didn't qualify. They didn't meet the 65 game qualification. So, we got down to these 5, in my opinion. And again, I'm going with Draymond because of the defensive floor raising he's kind of been doing for the Warriors all year. And then once they acquired Jimmy Butler, they've been one of the better defenses in the entire association. Once they got, another defensive player and defensive playmaker to pair with him. And they've been, again, just dominating defensively. I think in the lineup, his second most played lineup this year is him, Jimmy, B Pods, Moody, and Quentin Post, and they're posting a 98 defensive rating, which is like 10 points better than the best defense in the league right now. It's kind of a crazy lineup. So shout out to Draymond for, in my opinion, winning this year's Defensive Player of the Year. Well, until next time, like the video, subscribe. Also, make sure you add my playback room. It is here on the graphic, as you can see, and also it'll be in the description as well. Follow me on Twitter. That'll be in the description as well. And my TikTok will be in the description. Until next time, it's been real.